Stephanie in with us here this morning. Back here at the news desk, joining us, Stephanie Shanerock, the executive director of Visit Minot, to discuss the future impacts of the North Coast Fest ending after 46 years, what it means for tourism, the community, and how Minot is now moving forward from here as a city. Now, Stephanie, as always, it's a pleasure to see you once again.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
You got it. So from Visit Minot's perspective, what does the decision to stop running North Coast Fest mean for Minot's tourism landscape?
There's a few different factors here, Jay. I mean, when you talk about the tourism landscape, it's a business conversation and a, business decision. And
Yep.
From that standpoint, there's no doubt that the festival for decades was just, second largest event in the state, brought people in from all over the United States and honestly the world. It's really an event that our community has so much to be proud of.
How
With that
significant?
said,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
over the past 10 years, that's changed a little bit. The way that, the event, the impact from the event has changed. There's less humans that have come to it over the past 10 years.
Yeah. So the identity. I mean, how significant was the Host Fest to Minot's identity and brand?
Well, it's still a big deal. I will say 10, 15 years ago, it was a bigger deal just because there was just that many more people. There's no doubt that losing the North Coast Fest hurts. I do not want to minimize that. It hurts people's memories, it hurts people's hearts, it hurts people's souls for what, their memories of what the North Coast Fest was. So, what does that look like moving forward? The Scandinavian Heritage Association is an organization in Minot that's been around for just as long as North Coast Fest, and they run the park out here, the Scandinavian Heritage Park, and they run Midsummer Festival in June, and so they're coming together to figure out what they can do to continue the spirit of the festival.
Stephanie, the board cited rising costs, lower post-pandemic attendance. Are these any challenges affecting other major events in Minot, State Fair, or you just have the KMOT Ag Expo as well?
Yeah, it really hasn't, but we have to still look at what the North Coast Fest was and who they appealed to, right? I mean, they had dozens and dozens and dozens of bus tours that used to come, pre-pandemic, right? There's a lot of other factors there. When you look at just the entertainment business has changed dramatically over the past 10 years. The cost of it, the fact that, casinos offer a lot of the same entertainment that the North Coast Fest did. When you think about what the North Coast Fest provided, on paper, it was entertainment, and that's changed dramatically. Even vendors and some of the access to some of the shopping, right? That also has changed dramatically over the past 10 years. And so what isn't as easily replaced is that vibe, that feeling, that warm and fuzzy camaraderie and feeling welcomed. That is not as easily as replaced, certainly, but you can see the trajectory of the event. We say since COVID, but the reality is it goes farther back than that.
Sure. Stephanie, it's only been a handful of days since the announcement, but what's been the initial reaction from hotels or restaurants or even local businesses?
Minot has done a very good job. Minot's growing. Minot's done a very good job of diversifying tourism in Minot, right? We know on average, there's over, 30% of spend comes from people from outside of Ward County. That's a lot of money to those businesses. And fortunately, I mean, obviously North Coast Fest was a good injection. At the end of the day, it was 4 days, at the end of September. And because Minot has focused a lot on diversifying our products and diversifying other reasons why people come to Minot for tourism, it is less of an impact than it used to be. With that said, every piece matters, and of course, this will be felt.
Do you see maybe an opportunity for a reimagined or maybe even a scaled down version of a cultural event, possibly?
Possibly. I mean, cultural events across the country are kind of in a shift. And so I think it's probably time, over the past 5, 7, 10 years. I mean, there's been a lot of very smart people looking to try to figure out how to reinvent this event. This is not a new conversation. And so, what it looks like moving forward, I'm not real sure. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't see it being reinvented, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of very creative people up here with a heck of a big heart. And so it'll be interesting to see what can be developed.
Finally, as Minot says goodbye to something that meant so much to so many people, what do you hope the community remembers most about the Norse Kustfest and its legacy?
That's a great question. From talking to people, what I think people are going to remember and what I hope people remember is the spirit of what brought that festival together in the first place. I mean, literally, when you add up the number of volunteer hours, it's close to 1 million volunteer hours. When you look at what's been built, I think it's really important to focus on being proud of what has
Hmm.
been, right. And yeah, it's a sad day when it goes away. It's important to also not lose sight that it was incredibly successful for a really long time, and it's because a lot of people put their heart and soul into it, and it was a well-loved event for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it. I spent a few years on radio up there, Stephanie, and I'll miss the potato
Mhm.
klub. That was one of my favorite dishes. Of course, the lefse. Those are some of my favorites as well.
I understand. We hear these stories all the time from people. One of my very favorite things, and I'll be quick about this. We have a visitor center, and it's right outside that door, Jay. And as soon as the Fest is on, the number of people that come through that door and are talking about all the food and all the
Yeah.
entertainment, all the fun, it warms your heart and it lights you up, and that can't be forgotten.
Well, it's something that Minot should be awfully proud about. I mean, 46 years, that's a great run. Stephanie Shanerock, Executive Director of Visit Minot, thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure to visit.
Nice to see you too. Talk soon.
You bet. All right, 11 past the hour. We'll take a quick break here at the News Desk. We'll come right back here to KFYR Plus.